When God is preparing to elevate you, one of the first signs you'll notice is that everything around you starts to feel like it's falling apart. The things you once relied on, your job, your relationships, your routine, suddenly feel shaky, unpredictable, even uncomfortable. It feels as though life itself is shifting beneath your feet. And no matter how much you try to hold on, things just aren't staying the same. You may start to feel like you no longer fit in the spaces where you once belonged. Conversations with certain people don't flow the same way. The things that used to bring you joy don't satisfy you anymore. The places that once felt like home start to feel foreign. It's confusing because you can't quite put your finger on what's wrong, but deep down you sense that something is changing. And that change isn't just happening externally, it's happening inside you. Opportunities that once came easily may suddenly dry up. Doors that were wide open may begin to close without explanation. You might find yourself wondering why you're facing rejection in areas where you once thrived. The plans you laid out so carefully may not be unfolding the way you expected. Everything seems uncertain. It's as if life has thrown you into a storm, and no matter how hard you try, you can't seem to find steady ground. But here's what you need to understand. Instability is not a sign of failure. It's a sign of transformation. It's a sign that something bigger is happening behind the scenes. Sometimes when God is preparing you for something greater, He has to shake up the foundation you've been standing on. He has to disrupt your comfort, not to punish you, but to push you into a new level of growth. Think about a seed before it becomes a tree. Before it can grow, it has to break apart. The outer shell has to crack open. And for a moment, it looks like destruction. It looks like things are falling apart. But in reality, that breaking is what allows something greater to emerge. The same thing happens in your life. The instability you're feeling is not the end. It's the beginning of something new. You may feel isolated during this time. People you thought would be there forever may start to distance themselves. Situations that felt secure may suddenly feel unreliable. You may feel like you're losing control over the things that once gave you a sense of stability. And it's in those moments that you have to remember, sometimes losing control is exactly what needs to happen for God to take over. The discomfort, the uncertainty, the frustration, these are all signs that your life is being rearranged for something greater. What used to work will no longer work. What used to be enough will no longer satisfy. The old ways, the old mindsets, the old routines, they are being stripped away to make room for the next version of you. And the truth is that process isn't easy. It's unsettling. It's painful because we as human beings crave stability. We want to know what's next. We want to feel secure in our routines, our relationships, our future. But when God is shifting you, He removes the things that keep you tied to where you are. He creates a divine discomfort that forces you to move, to grow, to elevate. This is why during this season you may feel lost, but you are not. You may feel like everything is falling apart, but in reality, everything is falling into place. You are not being abandoned. You are being prepared. You are not being punished, you are being positioned. And even though everything around you may feel unstable, trust that there is a reason for it all. One of the clearest signs that you are about to step into a new season is when people start leaving your life, sometimes without warning, sometimes without reason. It can be one of the most painful and confusing experiences because you don't always see it coming. You may have thought certain people would be with you forever. You may have believed that some friendships, relationships, and connections were unshakable. But when you're on the verge of something greater, don't be surprised if people start to fade away. At first, it might feel like rejection. You'll start to notice that conversations that once flowed so easily now feel forced. The people who used to check in on you suddenly become distant. The support system you thought was solid may begin to crumble. You might even feel like you've done something wrong. You'll rack your brain trying to figure out what changed, why they pulled away, why they don't show up for you the way they used to. But understand this, when God is elevating you, He will allow certain people to exit your life because they can't go where you're going. Not everyone is meant to walk with you into the next chapter. Some people were only meant to be with you for a season. They were placed in your life to teach you something, to help you grow, to support you during a particular phase of your journey. But when their role is complete, their presence starts to diminish. This is not always a sign of betrayal. It is not always about disloyalty or wrongdoing. Sometimes it is simply divine separation. You see, when God is about to bless you with something big, He removes the people who would only hold you back. He clears out the distractions. He cuts the ties that no longer serve you. And while it may hurt, while you may feel abandoned, what's really happening is that you are being prepared for something greater. Some people in your life are only tied to the version of you that you used to be. They are comfortable with who you were, but they may not be able to handle who you are becoming. And so when you start growing, when you start evolving, when you start aligning with a higher purpose, they will naturally fall away. You won't have to push them out. They will remove themselves. You may notice that the friends who used to celebrate you now seem distant when you succeed. The people who once supported you now seem uninterested in your growth. The ones who used to cheer for you now remain silent. And it's not because you've changed for the worse. It's because you're changing in a way that no longer aligns with where they are. And here's the hardest part. You will try to hold on. You will try to make excuses for their behavior. You will try to convince yourself that you need them, that things can go back to the way they used to be, but deep down you know the truth. You know that trying to hold on to people who no longer belong in your life only delays what is meant for you. Sometimes the people who leave were never meant to stay, and other times people leave because they are unable to grow with you. Their purpose in your life has been fulfilled, and it's time for you to step into something new. You may not understand it now, and you may even resist it. But in time, you will look back and realize that every person who walked away made space for something better to enter. There comes a moment in your journey when the places that once felt warm and familiar suddenly start to feel foreign. The rooms where you used to feel safe now feel confining. The conversations that used to bring you comfort now feel empty. The spaces where you once laughed, dreamed, and planned your future now seem too small for the person you are becoming. It's not that these places have changed. You have. When God is about to give you something big, He begins to shift your spirit before He shifts your situation. And that shift will make you uncomfortable. You will start to feel restless in places you used to call home. The environments that once nurtured you now feel like they are holding you back. It's like wearing a pair of shoes that no longer fit. No matter how much you try to adjust, You can't ignore the discomfort. This discomfort is not a coincidence. It's not something you're imagining. It's a signal, a divine nudge, a whisper from within telling you that you are outgrowing your current space. You are no longer meant to settle there. You are being called to something greater, but before you can step into it, you have to recognize that where you are no longer serves you. Maybe it's your job. You used to walk into work with energy, feeling like you had a purpose, but now every day feels like a chore. You feel drained, uninspired, and unmotivated. You start questioning why you're even there. The things that once excited you about your work no longer hold meaning. And it's not because you're lazy or ungrateful. It's because your spirit is shifting. Maybe it's your friendships. The people you once connected with on every level now seem distant. You sit in the same spaces, have the same conversations, but something is missing. The energy is different. The connection isn't as strong. You try to force it, try to rekindle the bond, but deep down you know you don't belong in that circle anymore. Your growth is leading you in a different direction, and that means not everyone can come with you. Maybe it's even your physical home, the house, the city, the neighborhood that once felt so perfect now feels like a cage. You wake up feeling uneasy. You walk through the same streets, but they don't bring you peace like they used to. Something inside you is telling you it's time to move. This is what happens when God is preparing you for a new chapter. He allows discomfort to set in because he knows that without it, you would stay where you are forever. You would settle for less. You would ignore the call for something greater. So instead, he stirs something inside you. He makes sure that the places you once felt comfortable in no longer feel right. Because if you still felt at home there, you would never leave. And leaving is necessary. Growth requires movement. Expansion demands that you step outside of what is familiar. The version of you that was meant for more cannot stay confined in the same spaces that were only meant for an earlier version of yourself. You are not the same person you were last year, last month, or even last week. And because of that, your environment must shift as well. The hardest part about this process is that you will try to convince yourself that you should stay. You will look for ways to make things feel normal again. You will tell yourself that maybe it's just a phase, that maybe if you just wait it out, things will feel right again. But deep down, you know the truth. You know that no matter how much you try to force it, you don't fit there anymore. This feeling of discomfort is not a punishment. It is an invitation to rise, an invitation to step into the unknown, an invitation to trust that what is waiting for you is greater than what you are leaving behind. You are being prepared for something bigger, something better, something that aligns with the person you are becoming. And that means you cannot stay in the same spaces that were meant for the person you used to be. When you are on the verge of something big, life has a way of testing your patience in ways you never expected. Everything that seemed to be moving forward suddenly slows down. Plans that felt certain start to fall apart. Doors that were supposed to open stay locked. And no matter how much effort you put in, it feels like you are running in place. You start questioning everything. Why is this happening? Why now? You were so close. You could feel the breakthrough. You could see the progress. And then, just when you thought you were about to step into your next level, things started falling apart. The opportunity you were excited about suddenly vanishes. The relationship you were investing in crumbles. The business deal that was supposed to change everything gets delayed or denied. It feels like the universe is working against you. But here's the thing. These delays and setbacks are not punishments. They are preparation. They are divine detours designed to refine you before you step into what is meant for you. When God is about to bless you with something big, He won't just hand it to you unprepared. He will test your patience. He will test your resilience. He will test your ability to trust in timing that is greater than your own. And that often comes in the form of delays. You may feel ready. You may believe that you've done all the work, that you've earned your moment. But if your breakthrough is being delayed, there is a reason. Sometimes the delay is because you still need to grow. Maybe there's a lesson you haven't fully learned yet. Maybe there's a part of your mindset that still needs refining. Maybe there's something in you that, if left unaddressed, would sabotage the very thing you're asking for. Other times, the delay isn't about you. It's about alignment. You may be ready, but the situation, the opportunity, or the people involved are not. The right doors haven't lined up yet. The right people haven't entered your life yet. And if you were to step into it too soon, it wouldn't work out the way it was meant to. So instead of forcing something prematurely, God slows you down. He puts obstacles in your path, not to stop you, but to protect you from stepping into something before it's fully formed. Think about it. How many times have you wanted something so badly, only for it to not work out, and later you realize that it was actually a blessing? Maybe that job you were praying for would have drained you. Maybe that relationship you wanted so desperately would have broken you. Maybe that opportunity that slipped through your fingers wasn't the best thing for you after all. But in the moment when you're experiencing the delay, it doesn't feel like protection. It feels like frustration. It feels like being stuck in a place you don't want to be anymore. It feels like watching others move ahead while you're forced to wait. And waiting is hard. Waiting tests you in ways that nothing else can. Waiting forces you to let go of control. It forces you to trust in a process you cannot see. It forces you to dig deep and ask yourself, do I really believe that what's meant for me will not pass me by? Because if you truly believe that, then the delay won't break you. Instead of questioning why things aren't happening fast enough, you'll start asking, what is this delay teaching me? How can I use this time to prepare? What parts of me still need to grow before I step into what I'm asking for? See, the people who aren't truly ready for greatness will give up the moment they experience a delay. They will see the obstacle and assume it means no. But those who are truly ready will recognize that a delay is not a denial. A setback is not a stop sign. It is simply a redirection towards something better. And that's the difference between those who make it and those who don't. Those who give up during the waiting season never get to see what was on the other side. But those who stay the course, those who continue to trust, those who use the delay to prepare, they're the ones who walk into their blessing fully equipped to handle it. Because what's the point of receiving something great if you're not strong enough to sustain it? What's the point of stepping into your next level if you're not truly ready to hold the weight of it? The delay is not meant to break you. It is meant to build you. It is meant to strengthen your character, to sharpen your discipline, to refine your mindset, to ensure that when you finally step into your breakthrough, you don't just experience it, you thrive in it. There are moments in life when you just know something is shifting. You can't explain it. You can't put it into words, but deep in your spirit, you feel an undeniable pull, like something is about to change in a way that you've never experienced before. It's not just hope. It's not just wishful thinking. It's a deep, unshakable knowing. You wake up with a different kind of energy. The same routines, the same places, the same people, none of it feels the same anymore. You start seeing things differently. You start feeling things differently. And no matter how much you try to ignore it, there's this inner voice whispering to you, telling you to prepare, telling you to get ready, telling you that something bigger than anything you've ever known is on its way. At first, it feels exciting. You start dreaming bigger. You start envisioning what's possible. You feel inspired, motivated, full of life. But then something strange happens. As much as you feel this shift coming, your reality doesn't seem to match it. In fact, it might even seem like everything is getting harder. More obstacles, more struggles, more uncertainty. And that's where most people start to doubt. Because when you feel like something big is on the way, but all you see are setbacks, it's easy to question whether or not that feeling was even real. You start wondering if it was all in your head. Maybe you were just being optimistic. Maybe you were hoping for something that isn't actually meant for you. Maybe it was all just wishful thinking. But let me tell you something. That feeling is not an illusion. That deep sense of anticipation is not a mistake. It's a signal, a confirmation, a sign that your spirit is picking up on something before your mind can fully understand it. Your breakthrough is closer than you think, but before you step into it, you have to go through the process of alignment. See, when you feel that something big is coming, it's not just about receiving something new, it's about becoming someone new. And that transformation doesn't happen overnight. It happens through a series of shifts, a series of tests, a series of challenges that are meant to refine you before you walk into your next level. You might start feeling disconnected from certain people. The conversations that once felt fulfilling now feel draining. You don't relate to the same things you used to. You don't find joy in the same places. And that's because your frequency is changing. You are being prepared for a different reality. And not everything from your past can come with you. You might notice that your habits start changing. You start craving growth. You start feeling the need to break cycles, to let go of old ways of thinking, to discipline yourself in ways you never have before. You feel this strong push to focus, to elevate, to move differently. And that's because what's coming requires a different version of you, one that is sharper, wiser, stronger. You might also feel more tested than ever before. Life will start throwing curveballs at you. Things will start shifting unexpectedly. People will leave. Plans will fall apart. And in those moments, you'll start to wonder, if something big is coming, why does it feel like everything is falling apart? Because before elevation, there is always separation. Before growth, there is always discomfort. And before a breakthrough, there is always a breakdown. This is why so many people miss their blessings. They feel the shift coming, but when life starts shaking things up, they assume they were wrong. They start to doubt. They start to give up. But the truth is, the struggle isn't proof that your blessing isn't coming. The struggle is proof that it's closer than ever. When you feel that deep, unshakable sense that something big is on the way, don't let your circumstances convince you otherwise. Lean into it. Prepare for it. Move like you already know it's coming. Because that feeling inside of you, it's not a lie. It's not a coincidence. It's a calling. And what's meant for you is already making its way to you. There comes a time in your life when the things that once excited you suddenly lose their spark. The conversations that once felt engaging now feel repetitive. The habits that once felt comforting now feel draining. The places that used to bring you joy now feel unfamiliar, almost empty. It's as if something inside of you has shifted and the things that used to hold your attention just don't seem to matter anymore. At first, this feeling confuses you. You start wondering, why don't I enjoy this anymore? Why do I feel disconnected from things that used to make me happy? You might even feel guilty, like you're supposed to force yourself to care, to pretend that you're still the same person, to hold on to things that no longer feel right. But the truth is, you are outgrowing them. When you're being prepared for something bigger, the universe will begin to strip away everything that no longer aligns with your future. The music you used to love, the TV shows that used to entertain you, the hobbies that once filled your time, suddenly they don't resonate with you anymore. You try to engage, you try to go back, you try to force yourself to enjoy them the way you used to, but something inside of you has changed. And no matter how much you try to ignore it, you can't unsee what you've seen. You can't unfeel what you've felt. You can't go back to who you were because you are not that person anymore. This shift doesn't just happen with hobbies or habits. It happens with people too. You start noticing that certain friendships feel different. The people you once connected with now feel distant. The conversations that used to flow naturally now feel forced. The relationships that once felt unbreakable now seem fragile, as if something is pulling you away from them. And for a while you resist it. You tell yourself, maybe I'm just in a mood. Maybe I just need to try harder. Maybe I just need to be more patient. But deep down you know the truth. You're outgrowing the version of yourself that needed them. The version of you that was content with small talk, with surface level connections, with environments that kept you stagnant. And the more you grow, the harder it becomes to shrink yourself back into spaces that no longer fit you. You see, when you start to lose interest in things that no longer serve you, it's not a sign that something is wrong with you. It's a sign that you're evolving. You are shedding old layers. You are releasing old versions of yourself. You are making room for something new, something better, something that aligns with the person you are becoming. But here's the challenge. Letting go of what no longer serves you, there's a part of you that wants to hold on, a part of you that fears change, a part of you that wonders, what if I never find anything better? What if I regret leaving this behind? What if I'm just being impatient? And that fear is what keeps so many people stuck. They stay in friendships that drain them, in habits that no longer fulfill them, in routines that feel lifeless, because they are afraid of what will happen if they let go. But here's what you have to understand. Holding on to what no longer serves you is blocking what's meant for you. Imagine trying to carry an old, worn-out suitcase that is falling apart. The handle is broken, the zipper barely works, and it's stuffed with things you don't even use anymore. But you keep dragging it with you everywhere you go because it's familiar, because you've had it for so long, because you don't know what you would do without it. But what you don't realize is that every step you take with that heavy, broken suitcase is slowing you down. It's making your journey harder than it needs to be. And the moment you finally set it down, the moment you finally release it, you feel lighter, you move faster, and suddenly you have room in your hands to receive something new, something better, something that was meant for you all along. That is what happens when you let go of the things, the habits, the people, and the mindsets that no longer serve you. You create space. You free yourself from the weight of the past. You open yourself up to receive. So when you start losing interest in things that once defined you, when you find yourself drifting away from old patterns and relationships, don't fight it. Don't resist it. Don't force yourself to stay connected to something that is no longer in alignment with where you're going. Because every time you let go of what no longer serves you, you are making room for something greater. When God is about to give you something big, life will start shifting in ways you never expected. Everything around you may feel unstable. The people you once depended on may start to leave, and the places that used to feel like home may no longer bring you comfort. You will face unexpected delays, setbacks, and challenges that test your patience and resilience. You will feel a deep, undeniable sense that something is coming, something beyond what you can see right now. And you will start losing interest in things that no longer serve you because your spirit knows you are being prepared for something greater. But here's what you need to understand. These signs are not punishments. They are preparations. They are making sure you are ready for what is meant for you. Because what's coming is not ordinary. What's coming is not small. What's coming is life-changing. And before you receive it, you must be in the right position to handle it. So when you start seeing these signs, don't resist them. Don't fight the process. Trust that everything happening right now is working in your favor. Because when God is about to give you something big, He doesn't just hand it to you. He transforms you into the person who is ready to receive it.